Lost Dimensions is an interesting example of what can happen when you take a few specific game ideas and simply run with it, combining aspects of games like Danganronpa, Persona, and Valkyria Chronicles and mixing them into a unique gameplay experience. The game wastes no time in dropping you straight into its scenario. The main antagonist of the game, aptly named The End, has stated that he will destroy the world in 13 days from atop his massive tower, and the main character, Sho, is sent with a group of people, all of whom have unique special abilities, to kill him before he can destroy the world.
If you wish to kill me, you will need to climb this tower. I'll be waiting for you at the top of the pillar. So if you want to save the world, I suggest you work together and start your ascent.
Simple, right? Unfortunately not. You see, The End has somehow managed to manipulate everyone's memories to where they cannot remember specific aspects of their past. And to top it all off, some of your teammates are actually traitors, and every time you move from one floor to another, one member of your team will remember that their allegiance actually lies with The End. The core gameplay is split between two distinct parts. Its strategy RPG battle system, where you will take the main character and a group of up to 6 of your party members to fight against what appear to be semi-artificial beings hell-bent on seeing your group destroyed. The second part involves you hanging out between missions, getting to know your fellow compatriots, equipping them with new weapons, upgrading their special abilities, and most importantly, trying to figure out whom amongst your friends are actually your enemies.
Don't get yourself killed.
Got it. Senji, come with us.
The combat in the game works fairly well, with you taking control of your squad and moving around the battleground, attacking enemies when you get in range, either by using your basic attacks or that unit's unique abilities. The assist mechanics system works where if another of your teammates is within range to attack the same enemy you're attacking, they will automatically join in without having to use another turn. This can result in you attacking one enemy with every single member of your party, even though you're using up the turn of only one character. Sanity is a resource that each character has to utilize, along with their health and their mana. Sanity is drained by several ways, including using special abilities, getting damaged by enemies, and by using the defer mechanic, which we will explain further in a moment. When a character completely runs out of their sanity, they go berserk, greatly increasing their damage output. The flip side of this is that you lose control of them until they calm down, and until they do, they will attack enemies and allies indiscriminately. The last mechanic is the defer ability, which allows you to transfer one character's turn to another. This can have several uses. For instance, if you have one character who is just outside the range of attacking the enemy, you can defer another character's turn who is in range and have them both attack the enemy in tandem. Making sure you can utilize the mechanics altogether is necessary in order to obtain victory. After each battle, Sho will be flooded with the thoughts of his allies, with certain voices coming across as suspicious. By figuring out how many suspicious voices you hear and cycling your team around, you will utilize these moments to help figure out who amongst your group are thinking these suspicious thoughts, and who are not. After you have pinpointed who in the group might be the traitor, you can utilize Sho's unique ability, Vision Mode. While in Vision Mode, Sho must chase down the character he suspects as the traitor, down in their mind, following their thoughts to where they are hiding. Once he reaches them, he can find out if the character is actually a loyal member of the team, or if they are working against the team for the end. After you've pinpointed the traitor, your job is to convince the other members of your group to vote against them in a ceremony at the end of each level of the tower, where the group must choose one member of the team to erase. If you fail to erase the traitor, you may find yourself facing a group of your former comrades at the end of the game in a last-ditch effort to stop you from defeating the End. What's unique about this system when compared to games like Danganronpa or the Ace Attorney series is that except for the very first traitor you come across in the game, all of the traitors are completely randomized. You can find yourself relying on one particular character most of the game, only to find out at the umpteenth hour that you'll have to erase them. If you become attached to certain characters, this can become quite distressing. You are encouraged in the game to get closer to your teammates, and when you've formed a particularly strong bond with one of them only to find out that they are your enemy, it becomes apparent that they have become torn between their duty and their friendship.
So you all chose me, huh? I knew it'd come to this sooner or later. But don't worry, it's all fine. I mean, hey, I'm your guys' enemy. So you did the right thing. I'm the bad guy.
Marco, you?
I'm sorry, Sho. I've been lying to you this whole time. I'm the traitor that the end kept talking about. Me. It was my job to destroy the one thing you held dear, in exchange for what I hold dear.
Not all aspects of the game are as well thought out or as interesting as the betrayal mechanic. Items and weapons in the game are overpriced and require a bit too much grinding in order to equip your entire remaining party with the best gear in the game, which unfortunately does not transfer over to New Game Plus mode. The story also feels a bit confusing the first time you play through the game, as it refuses to tell you the entire story of why everything is happening. The reason for this is that in order to get the game's true ending, you must have become friends with every single one of your companions at some point during one of your playthroughs, which is completely impossible the first time you play, as you cannot become friends with characters until you've reached the 4th level of the tower, and by then you've already erased 3 of them. This can cause a small issue, since who the new traitor is completely randomized each time you go from one level to another. It may take multiple playthroughs to actually get the characters you need to get to that point of the game in order to befriend them. The only way to avoid this would be to use an external source in order to back up your save data, so that you can ensure that the correct teammates don't betray you in early sections of the game. The reason you would have to go out of your way to do this is because the game forces you to only have a single save on the console of your choice. This is done to ensure that you can't backtrack if you make a mistake, and makes the game more tense overall. Lost Dimension is definitely not the prettiest of games. While the close-ups of each of the characters have their charm, the character models in-game are at best completely average. Even though the game being rather weak on the graphical presentation, the game seems to have a hard time running at times, sometimes having to do a short load mid-fight in order to continue. There was also one specific mission in the game where the game crashed multiple times, preventing the game from continuing on. Eventually, we were able to get through this part of the game, but this seemed like a huge oversight that should not have made it into the final product. Overall, the game, at its very best, is a unique game that deserves to be played by gamers who find the core ideas behind the game interesting, and at its worst, a dull experience by those who don't find the repetitive character-driven nature of the game worthwhile. Thanks for watching our review for Lost Dimensions. If you enjoyed this video, please take a little like and maybe a small subscribe, and we'll be able to do these videos a lot more often. Oh, and hey, while you're at it, why not just check out some of my stuff? I made a little Metal Gear Solid comic dub and also an Adventure Time comic dub, so why not check that out? You know, I've been working on a few other comic dubs and working on a little movie review, so that's gonna be fun.